Recently, a captivating show called Shogun has been released, depicting feudal Japan during the Sengoku period. This show has gotten the attention of many viewers and has awakened and reopened interest in feudal Japan. The show is very authentic, paying a lot of attention to detail, and has shed light on some of the little-known features of the era. One intriguing aspect is the portrayal of certain characters, both European and local Japanese, holding significant positions in the shogun. This contrast may surprise viewers, highlighting the widespread influence of Christianity in feudal Japan. Let us know in the comments section if you were surprised or intrigued by this. It's lesser known that during this era, a literal clash of cultures occurred as traditional Japanese and particularly samurai values intersected with the Western European Christian missionaries, principally from Portugal and Spain, profoundly impacting Japanese society. Today, we delve into this fascinating clash of cultures depicted in Shogun's Japan, where the samurai was pitted against the missionary. In the tumultuous era of the 16th and 17th centuries, Japan stood as a bastion of strict social hierarchy, deeply rooted in traditional values. The samurai, those revered warriors bound by a code of honor, wielded unparalleled power and influence in society, with the shogun reigning supreme at the apex of this rigid power structure. Yet, amidst this established order, winds of change blew in from distant shores. European Christians, particularly zealous Roman Catholic missionaries from Portugal and Spain, embarked on a journey to the land of the rising sun, carrying with them the fervor of a new faith and the clash of cultures that would reshape the very fabric of Japanese history. In 1549, the shores of Japan welcomed a figure whose arrival heralded a profound transformation. Francis Xavier, a Roman Catholic missionary hailing from Portugal and a devout member of the Jesuit order. Accompanied by his 3 fellow Jesuits, Xavier set foot in the town of Kagoshima, situated in the Satsuma province on the island of Kyushu, Japan. Here, amidst the backdrop of a nation ravaged by civil strife and social upheaval during the Sengoku Jidai, or the Warring States period, Xavier encountered a land ripe for spiritual exploration and conversion. This period of civil war in Japan was marked by competing warlords vying for hegemony and control over the empire. They were all essentially fighting to make themselves the shogun, the ultimate ruler of Japan. The Lord of Satsuma, a formidable samurai known as Shimazu Takahisa, initially extended a benevolent hand to Xavier and his companions, offering them a semblance of sanctuary in the chaos of the times. These lords were known as daimyo in Japan and ruled a province or domain. They were subservient to the shogun and key players in the Sengoku Jidai. Undeterred by the linguistic barriers and cultural chasms that lay before them, Xavier's journey took him from the shores of Kagoshima to the ancient capital of Kyoto, where the enigmatic emperor seemingly held sway over the realm, albeit with little political clout, having power limited to that of a cultural and symbolic figurehead. Xavier's meeting with the emperor was aborted, so that they never officially met. But by now he realized this person did not hold the real sway over Japan. Yet, it was in the domain of the great Oichi clan, nestled in the city of Yamaguchi, on the western fringes of Honshu, that Xavier and his followers found a more receptive audience. Here, the daimyo, Oichi Yoshitaka, intrigued by the novel teachings of Christianity, initially perceived it as a sect of Buddhism, owing to its purported origins in India. He thought this because Xavier had arrived from India when he came to Japan. Xavier seized the opportunity to preach in Yamaguchi province, though hindered by his lack of fluency in the Japanese tongue, resorting to the recitation of translated Catholic catechisms. The prevailing religious landscape of Japan, dominated by the venerable traditions of Buddhism and Shintoism, posed formidable obstacles to Xavier and his followers. The concept of a single deity and notions of heaven and hell clashed with the indigenous beliefs in kami, or deities and spirits, the reverence of ancestors, and the cycle of reincarnation. Undeterred by these challenges, Xavier and his compatriots adopted a strategy of top-down conversion, focusing their efforts on winning the favor of the influential daimyo, whose patronage could pave the path for widespread acceptance of Christianity. Their endeavors bore fruit, with a notable number of daimyo in southwestern Japan embracing the new faith, drawn by the allure of trade and diplomacy with the Portuguese, who held sway over the lucrative Nanban trade. Nanban meant southern barbarian in Japanese, as Europeans were perceived as such. The Nanban trade gave the Japanese access to advanced technology, such as firearms, giving the daimyo who acquired them an edge on the battlefield. Indeed, firearms were implemented effectively and relatively very quickly by the daimyo, and soon had a treasured place in the Sengoku Jidai. These converted daimyo forced their subjects to convert as well. Their household retainers, vassals, and samurai were forced to convert, and in some cases faced death if they refused to do so. More Christian missionaries were permitted in their respective domains to preach, swelling the number of converts. In some places, such as the city of Nagasaki in Hizen province on the island of Kyushu, the population was significantly Christian, and the church had begun to replace the Buddhist temple and the Shinto shrine. The zenith of Christian influence in Japan saw as many as 86 daimyo embracing the faith, wielding it as a tool to consolidate their power and strengthen their ties with the European traders. However, the tide would soon turn with the ascent of Toyotomi Hideyoshi, a formidable figure who rose to prominence and is known as one of the three unifiers of Japan. The first so-called unifier of Japan was Oda Nobunaga. He held sway over a large part of Japan shortly before Hideyoshi and permitted Xavier and his followers to do their work. But he was not any more favorable to them than any other religious group. Indeed, as well, other orders such as the Franciscans and Dominicans were permitted to preach in Japan. By the time of Hideyoshi's ascendance, Xavier had left and was replaced by Alessandro Valignano. For his efforts in Japan, Xavier would be venerated as a saint by the Roman Catholic Church. Initially indifferent to Christianity, Hideyoshi's stance evolved into hostility as he perceived it as a threat to Japan's sovereignty, influenced by the specter of European colonialism and the destruction wrought upon Buddhist temples. Despite his Buddhist inclinations, Hideyoshi employed a Portuguese Jesuit, Jairo Rodrigues, as an interpreter, albeit harboring deep suspicions towards the missionaries' motives. The turning point came with the infamous San Felipe incident, where a shipwrecked Spanish captain's false claims of Jesuit collusion in a plot to subjugate Japan ignited the flames of anti-Christian sentiment. In 1587, Hideyoshi issued a blanket ban on Christianity, marking the onset of a dark chapter of persecution and martyrdom, epitomized by the harrowing fate of the 26 martyrs of Japan. The ascension of Tokugawa Ieyasu to the seat of power ushered in a new era under the Tokugawa shogunate, characterized by stability, yet marred by the suppression of Christianity. Despite initially maintaining trade with the Portuguese and the Spanish, Ieyasu eventually enforced a stringent policy of sakoku, isolating Japan from external influences and expelling all missionaries and foreigners from its shores. This policy would remain in place for the next 200 years until Japan was coerced into reopening up to the world in 1854 by the United States of America. The crackdown of Christianity culminated in the complete prohibition of the faith in 1613, driving it underground and consigning it to centuries of clandestine existence. The once thriving churches of Japan lay in ruins, their echoes silenced by the relentless march of persecution and the imposition of a rigid orthodoxy. This would lead to the final struggle of the Shimabara Rebellion. For more on that, you can check out the Kings and Generals' excellent video on the subject. Link in the description below. In the crucible of conflict between the sword and the cross, the samurai emerged victorious, relegating Christianity to the annals of Japanese history. Yet, amidst the ashes of persecution, the legacy of cultural exchange endures, transcending the boundaries of faith and ideology, and bearing testimony to the indomitable spirit of human resilience. The clash of cultures between the traditional values of the samurai and the advent of Christianity in feudal Japan stands as a testament to the complexities of history and the unrelenting march of change. As we reflect on this captivating chapter in Japanese history, we are reminded of the enduring legacy of cultural exchange and the profound impact of religious fervor on the course of human events. What are your thoughts about this exciting subject? We would love to hear about it in the comment section below. Stay tuned for more fascinating and exciting history videos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you on the next one.